Yep. So, episode 2, we're going to try this 2-week thing, see if it works, okay?
Okay.
He is the wind, she is the wave, and together they make up the band they call the wind and the wave. They're not related, they're best buds, they're BFFs for life, hashtag DDIT dubs. It's the Dwight and Patty Show. The Dwight and Patty Show. It's the Dwight and Patty Show.
It's Dwight and Patty.
Well, welcome to episode 2 of the Dwight and Patty Show podcast presented by the Wind and the Wave of season 2.
What?
Yeah. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed the first episode of season 2, which is out as we speak, including on video, which Patty handled, and thank you for that.
I hope that my video skills will get better over time, but I did the best I could. P.S. Kevin and I watched Toy Story 3 last night.
Oh.
And I had forgotten.
It's great, right?
I had actually seen the third one. I haven't seen the fourth one. That's tonight.
When he goes off to college and he goes and plays with the little girl in her yard.
Which no guy going off to college would ever do.
But I remember
cute.
saying to myself, God, I hope I have a kid who's that nice of a kid someday. I think, at the risk of hurting feelings, I think Evan is a nice enough kid to do that. I do.
Yeah, we'll see.
Jackson, maybe it's just the turf that comes with being 17, but Jackson is about Jackson and his girlfriend and his band, and that's about it, which maybe that's all I was about at 17 too. Who the fuck knows?
Probably. It's likely. Anyway, so tonight we're going to watch the fourth, and I'll report back.
Also good. It's a different take on it, but it's a beautiful story that made me cry. They all made me cry.
Tom Hanks, I don't know if you saw, is at home and he's well and with his wife and all's good. So thank God.
Yeah. Can't lose Hanks. So this will be our brief discussion of lockdown. We'll do it since you just brought it up. We'll just do it right now. We'll get it out of the way. Okay.
I will say that today is day 15 of my true quarantine where we haven't gone anywhere.
Ditto.
And that means I get to merge my pod with Sally's pod. So Kevin and I are putting the grill in the back of the truck and we're going over to the Rumsey house to grill and hang out with our friends and get real human hugs.
Nice. Fantastic. Can you, are y'all going to start to decide how you're going to do your podcast too?
Yes. Tonight is also a meeting of the minds.
Or can she even do that with all those kids running around? Is it even possible right now?
She has been doing virtual sessions with clients upstairs.
Okay, so they know when to leave mommy alone.
Yeah.
And I guess Ryan's home too, so.
On that note, I can't imagine how hard it is for parents right now.
Dude, it's hard with teenagers. Can you imagine people with the little guys?
Little kids and working and trying to do homeschool. Oh my God.
I will say there's, people that can work. I envy them some. Sarah can't work at all. She's frustrated as shit. So, and we have rent coming up on that place.
If anyone wants to support your wife, they can go to her website, which is
atwander.com or at Wander Shop Salon. She's selling all of her stuff online. You can swipe up in all of her stories, and anybody that does hair styling or waiting tables or anything, if you can cut them a few bones. In Austin, Sarah's doing sanitized personal deliveries to your front porch.
I saw that.
So
you can
anybody that needs anything.
You can order some awesome hair products on her online store, which is...
And plants, succulents.
Oh, and yes, succulents and plant hangers and local art from Austin artists. And so that's all at wandersalon.com. Is that right?
Yes.
Cool.
I wanted to give my one.
I'm sorry. I just real quick because we're on the topic of hair. I cut Kevin's hair the other day. Did you see that?
Yeah, I saw it. Looked pretty good. Sarah said she did a little consult while y'all were going through it.
She did. I watched one YouTube video and suddenly thought I could do Sarah's job. That's not how it works, by the way.
No,
you can't.
It's really hard to do hair, especially buzz cuts. Oh, yours didn't look terrible. I mean, it could have been worse.
It did require her consultation. So
yeah.
I was very grateful for that. And there's still a few areas I want to touch up, but all in all, pretty good.
No, see, that's where you get into trouble. He looks fine. It's a quarantine. Leave it. If you touch it up, you're going to end up with a hole in the head.
I know. He was like, it's okay. We can just shave my head if we need to. And I was like, God, no. Please, no. Yeah. You're attractive. That's why I married you. Come on, let's be honest.
I bet you he would look great bald. And let's just all be honest here. I wanted to give my one little bit of advice for this whole ordeal. Stop looking at the news every day. Stop looking at social media posts, which you don't even know if they're true, every day.
Totally.
And guess what? You're way happier. The things you need to know, like, you'll find out. You'll know on your walk, you'll know. If there's a critical emergency that personally affects you at this moment, you will find out. Promise. But the thing that it does is it takes the stress level down, and especially if you're around kids, they can feel it and they're watching how we're acting, and you got to act that way. And it just takes the stress level down and makes you try to think about the things that actually matter, which are your community right now, your 5-block radius, So yeah. I would say, and also because, media changed, and I'm not going to go into like fake media or anything like that, fake news or anything like that. But I will say that media has changed in the last 10 years to become basically, because newspapers aren't sold anymore and cable news is not watched anymore, the only way these people generate ad dollars and generate views on their now websites and Instagram spots and Facebook pages is through headlines, clickbait.
Right.
So news, even when they're trying to be accurate, headlines as clickbait now, so that you click on their shit, so that you go to their stuff and fall for the trick, right? And I have one example of that, and then we'll move on. And this is, I've been trying to limit looking at the news since before we got on the plane in the UK, because it was just, I'll go down a rabbit hole and freak myself.
It's really easy to spiral.
But my advice is true, and I say that because I've watched it happen for myself. If you stop looking at it and work on your own shit and do your own shit and tend to your garden and rake some leaves and take a walk and go shoot hoops with your kid and watch Toy Story 3, and before you know it, it's 4 days later and everything's basically the same. There's a few more cases here and there and some other shit, and maybe someone died, but for you, it's the same, and it's just better mentally. But here's an example of one of these headlines. So the headline says, this was from 4 or 5 days ago, Dr. Anthony Fauci, or I think it's how it's pronounced, which is the guy, right? He's the head of, pandemic diseases, infectious diseases for the U.S. or whatever. It says Dr. Anthony Fauci says the U.S. could have millions of cases. That's the headline. Okay.
Okay.
Which, when you read that, you go, oh shit. Why did China only have like 80,000? Why they have 1 billion people? How can we have millions of cases? So it's a scare. It's a scare headline. But when you read it, he's and this was during the State of the Union. He says, it says, Dr. Fauci says there potentially could be 1 million cases and 100,000, 200,000 deaths. I just don't think we should make a projection like that when it's such a moving target. I've never seen the model of diseases that I've dealt with within which the worst case scenario actually came out. It's always way overshot. So the headline says millions of people are going to get it. Millions of people are going to get 200,000 are dead. But the actual thing he said was, it's never happened when we overshoot with the worst models we possibly can. And then it usually winds up somewhere way lower than that, is basically what he's saying.
So he's saying, we don't want to make this giant projection, and then the headline makes
but the headline
projection.
Is make it, and it says he said it.
Right.
And he sort of said it in there, sort of.
I mean, out of context.
And so they missed all, they take all the context around it, which is, I don't really think I should be making projections like that. Of course we could have that. Of course we could, but we don't. Right now in Austin, there's still like 240 cases.
I think he was on The Daily Show, and I really like The Daily Show. I really like Trevor Noah. I think he does a great job at spreading what's accurate.
I've heard him on a few things. He's a really smart man. If you want to have some positive news about it, go listen to Dr. Drew a little bit, who, was on the front lines of the AIDS epidemic and knows Fauci well and worked with him on that and everything. He's got a very level-headed take on all this. And he says that viruses are viruses, and this will play out the same way that every other virus does. And we're going to be okay. We just need to take it easy for a little bit. Okay, so let's move on.
Okay, move on to what?
Well, so when you go over to the I almost said Rumsfelds again. God damn it. When you go over the Rumsies, what are you planning on doing? Like what kind of human interaction are you looking forward to? Kid time, adult time, cocktail hour?
Both, all. Yes. We're going to take some wine over there. Maybe they have some tequila, maybe some margaritas. We're throwing the grill in the back of the truck. So we're going to grill out. We've got Beyond Meat and regular meat. So we're going to make like hamburgers and stuff. Grill out in the backyard.
Nice.
Maybe
it also
jump
means
on the trampoline.
That at a certain point, you and I could be together too.
Absolutely.
Because we're in the same, we've been together for now, our germs for like 30 days, if you include our quarantine. So
yeah,
whatever we've had has been passed back and forth multiple times.
Yeah, for sure.
I have finished, aside from one little detail, the new demo, first demo for the new record.
Is that something that are these new demos things that you're wanting to share with the Patreon supporters? Because they are new songs and there are demos. Not yet.
They're going to have to wait a little bit. Yeah. Once I've decided how we're actually recording it, whether, if I'm locked down till fucking August, I'm going to have to just do it myself. And at that point, I'm willing to share it because it'll be me sitting in a room. But if I can still schedule it the way I want to with some of the players I want to use in Nash, then I'd still rather do that.
What about iPhone recordings of just like straight acoustic playing it through once the lyrics are done?
That I'm fine with. But we would have to be in the same room to do that.
I think we can get there pretty soon. So that's something to look forward to for our Patreon supporters. Another thing I wanted to ask you about was whether we had any more content from when we recorded with the band before we went on the tour, recorded the rehearsals.
I do have more rehearsals, and I have pulled up the show after the London O2 from the live version of that I can bust some mixes out, and maybe we could throw that up on Spotify or something. I don't know. It's not like it's the best recording in the world because it's a live recording without, room mics and everything else, with the limited kind of mic package we had. The studio recordings themselves from the rehearsals sound really good.
Cool.
Like those sound good. Maybe we could package the two together somehow and throw it up as a just bonus live.
I'm also looking. I'm also looking for exclusive content just for Patreon too. Just keep that in mind as you're going through it.
Well, maybe we could throw up the live rehearsals on Spotify because they sound so good,
Mm-hmm.
and just call it a live and rehearsal for the
Mm-hmm.
UK or something like that, and then throw up because it doesn't sound quite as good. I'll work on it and see if I can get it.
But still
there.
really cool.
Yeah, we could throw up the live in the UK for the Patreon, and maybe it's only for a certain level. I don't know. You'd have to decide that.
Okay.
But yeah, so live in the UK, I'm trying to get it to where it's all one show. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see how I do with that. But that's what I'm attempting to get it all one live show.
Okay.
By the way, I was thinking about this last night. How cool. I mean, there's a lot of cool venues. I love the Hydro in Scotland and Glasgow, and that's a great venue and very cool looking. But man, how cool was the O2? I mean,
yeah, it's huge.
21,000 people or something, and I think is what it was. And walking out in front of that many people, and it was packed when we walked out there. Like that was one of the venues where the people showed up early, which most they did. There was only like one or two where we were kind of sparse at the beginning. Most it was like the whole floor was covered.
Yeah, but
some of those places was 10,000 people. Yeah,
I know, but yeah, it's like sparse for those giant venues is still thousands of people.
Yeah, it's like 10 times more than we normally play for.
For a
but
folk, yeah.
I was just thinking back, man, like that O2 show. Like when we were driving up, remember we came up in a cab because we were coming from the studio from mixing the record we have with Kelly, and we pull up in that cab and it's got all those like spires kind of coming off the edge. And, maybe on the video you could insert a picture of the O2 right here since you're an editing genius.
Oh, I can try to figure that out. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's got all those spires. And as you're pulling up to it, you're like, that's where we're playing? Like, that's where you go see the Eagles. That's where you go see Taylor Swift play. Like, that is not where we're playing. Yep. That's exactly where we're playing. Just how fucking cool it is that they invited us to do. Like, so fucking cool, man.
I'm also glad at the fact that, I wasn't glad to leave early and miss the last 3 shows, but I was glad that they added, another opener.
Who had never played. Yeah. According to Kelly, her show.
Artist.
Yeah, according to Kelly, her shows are like 50 people. And then I guess Jamie liked her stuff and played it for Kelly, and then she did the European run with them, which was smaller places, or smaller places, like 5,000 seaters.
But it's so cool that they offer those opening slots to very much new artists that don't have a giant following. It's really cool.
Well, it's cheaper for them, one, but also they don't need the ticket sales.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's not like they're looking for someone to add ticket sales. And also, as we've learned too, that doesn't help. You can't count on your opening band to also add ticket sales, even if they sell tickets in general.
Unless it was like a co-headline situation.
Even those, man. What I found, even when we were opening, people would go, I'll wait for you to come when you guys come through as a headliner. Like our fans don't want to see us play 20 minutes. They want to see us play an hour and a half. And they also don't want to pay the ticket price for the person we're opening for.
That's true.
So it doesn't really work where it adds fans or whatever, Yeah.
Speaking of the UK though, you see this shirt that I'm wearing?
Oh yeah. I never got one of the UK ones.
Oh, I'm sorry. This is one of the shirts that we printed specifically for the UK. There's another one, a blue one with wolves on it. But the UK online store should be live in a couple of days.
Nice.
And for our regular US Canada store that's just on our website, thewindandthewave.com, if you use the code STAYHOME right now, you get 10% off anything in the store through April 15th. And I'm doing the same thing with the new UK store as soon as it's live, except it'll be 15% because yay, a UK store.
Yeah, how cool is that, right?
Yeah. So I'll let you guys know as soon as that's live.
Okay, so might as well get to some emails and then get about our day. You can go barbecue and get drunk.
Yeah.
So I thought I had more emails than I did, but when I went through everything, a lot of it was just Patreon stuff. And so I only have a few emails, but let's get them out. But let's take the time right now to say,
I love you.
send us emails.
Oh, you can send us an email if you want.
Where?
Well, if you have a computer or a phone,
Okay.
the Dwight and Patty Show at gmail.com.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And Dwight is spelled Dwight, just so you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I would just like to say that send us your emails. If we're going to do 2 a week, answering your questions and talking about your thoughts is going to be way easier for us to have subjects and, just stuff to talk about. So you guys have stuff to listen to.
I'm like craving human connection too. And this is what we have together right now. So like, come be part of this conversation, pretty please.
Agreed. Maybe since we're going to figure out a way to do call-ins for the Feelings Club, maybe we should figure out a way for people to leave a message too for us.
Sure.
Can we look into that this week? There's a Google number or something.
I'm looking into it.
All right. So maybe we'll figure out a way for you guys to call and leave a message as well.
Ooh.
And
I'll put that on my list of things to do. Yeah,
we'll answer that. Okay, so this is from our old favorite Johnny Jones, and this is from January. So, a lot of these are dated back post the conclusion of season 1.
Okay.
So it may not be incredibly relevant. So at this point, I know I'm supposed to mention how smart, funny, and pretty Dwight is, but I'm going to skip that part if it's okay with everyone else. Well,
okay with me.
It's not okay. It's not okay with me. Don't let anyone else get influenced by that. The rules of our emails are, if you're new to this podcast, you have to compliment me 3 times at the beginning of the email. If you want to say something about Patty, it's fine. It's not supported. It's not endorsed. But if you want to say something nice about her, go ahead. Okay. So far, today's been super productive. I took the day off and slept in. Check. Ignored all the happy birthday texts. 3. Check. Beer for breakfast. Check. Beer for lunch. Check. Checks mix. Check. Wind and Wave season finale podcast letter in progress. Wow. This was in January and we haven't seen that yet. So that's going to need to come. First, I took the liberty of making you a season finale checklist. Season finale checklist. Extra long episode. Special guest. Fireworks. New music. Cliffhanger. It can't be disappointing like Game of Thrones, please. A good finale should also answer questions, which leads me to my podcast questions. Patty, I'm curious if you've ever experimented with prescription drugs for your depression. I've also had crippling depression in the past, but I find it hard to believe these feel-good pills can really help. And then it also says, Dwight, what are your thoughts on happy pills? So let me give you my thoughts on happy pills. I think happy pills, when not abused and prescribed by a doctor, can be a great temporary fix. And if you're a bipolar person, perhaps a permanent fix. But someone going through a massive depression, it can be a temporary fix and can be helpful. If you've exhausted maybe the other options. That's my opinion. Okay, go ahead.
Well, totally remind me that I forgot to take my pill earlier today, so I've just taken it. So I've been on antidepressants since either late November or early December. And they're working for me. I don't know how long I'll continue to take them, but I'm at a very low dose, and it's just kind of keeping me real even keel right now, so that's good. I think before I started taking them, though, I definitely kind of bought into the stigma.
Like he does, it seems like.
Well, not the stigma of like you shouldn't need them necessarily, but just I don't know. Like when my friends started taking sleeping pills.
I'm a little sad. I don't need a pill for that. like that kind
Yeah,
of
I
thing,
know.
right?
Well, yeah, it's kind of just like, is that your first, like, have you exhausted other resources? Have you,
Right.
but
But they did
I
help
don't
you.
know, but they did, they help. And I don't know that you need to, like you said, exhaust your resources. It's a tool and it's
Sure.
there for you to use as long as you don't abuse it, like you say,
Or think about using it forever.
or have it become like a crutch. I think if you
Right.
can get to a place where you feel good
Try it
on
without
your
it.
own, or using other tools, because drugs aren't the only tool. There are many tools available to us that don't come in the form of a prescription drug, but that is also a tool. So
Okay.
that's what I'm going to say about
So
that.
obviously this was a long time ago. Anyway, good luck with the Feelings Club tour. It sounds like a fun experiment. Perhaps you should sell Dwight and Patty dolls at the show so crazed fans can point to where your music is touching them.
Wait, what was the sell what?
Okay, you need to listen to me when I'm reading the emails.
I am listening. You just cut out for a second.
Perhaps you should sell Dwight and Patty dolls at the show so crazed fans can point to where your music is touching them. Classic Johnny.
That's pretty good.
I'm super excited to hear you want to make more music together, and I'm anxious to see how your styles have evolved. And finally, thanks a lot for taking time out of your busy stallion workout schedule to put this podcast together. You've taught me that when life makes me feel patty, I just have to Dwight up and keep on going. I look forward to season 2. I look forward to season 2 in my ear holes in the middle of the night, Johnny. He's our best emailer. His stuff is actually really funny. He should probably have his own podcast.
Probably.
Don't you think? Yeah, I mean he's well spelled. Yeah. When Patty Okay.
That brings up a question for me. Are you done with that email?
Yes.
Are you still working out? I know you're not going to Orange Theory.
I am. I've been walking twice a day, good walks, and then like fast walks up and down the hills around here. And then today, Orange Theory posted a bunch of workouts online. So Evan and I are going to do it at 5:30 today and see how we feel.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. I will not be filming it.
Okay.
But I might give us Svelte Stallion check-in post-workout.
Okay.
With young Svelte, Lil Svelte, with Lil Svelte.
Okay.
Okay. This was a message on our Patreon. It was also in January, but I'm going to read it because it's from our good friend Eric Nagel, whose father's health was as bad as mine, which I found out when he came to see us play in Denver, and I hope his dad is doing well. Okay. Hi, DMP. I know the season 1 is done, but I thought I'd just write and say hi. I'll still give the 3 compliments to both of you, though, because that's how I roll. Of course, he gives you compliments, too. Unnecessary, but I'll read them anyway. Dwight, compliment 1. Dude, the Svelte Stallion on the interwebs, because being real, who the fuck has an actual dictionary anymore, should have your photo next to it if it doesn't already. BT Dub's greatest nickname ever. I mean, damn good compliment. Dwight, compliment 2. I really enjoy how you tell it how it is. Not a lot of sugarcoating. If there's any, it'd be like a lemon drop. Initial coat of sugar, then boom, straight up bomb. Eric knows me well, turns out. Dwight 3, killing Darth Vader with my motherfucking kick drum might be the greatest line of the decade. If I remember right, that came out of your mouth and Matt ran with it. That is true.
That's from the band Missio, for those who don't know that already.
Have you watched the Missio doc yet that you're in briefly?
I have not watched the entire doc. I will. I know. You're thinking, whoa, you have so much time, Patty. I had to figure out the video editing over here.
I want you to watch the doc, and I want you to tell me what you think on the next episode. That's what we're talking about.
Okay.
Got it?
Yep.
It's a very good. Jeff Ray killed it. I want detailed notes. I want a conversation about it. Okay? Okay. Patty, compliment 1. This is very similar to Dwight 2, but your genuineness inspires me every day to be better in all my dealings with others. Patricia 2. Holy shit, your voice. I hear it and I'm just captivated. I remember the first time I saw you play with Soldier Thread on the Blue October acoustic tour, and I remember telling one of your bandmates how much I loved your voice. And they were like, tell her that. I was so intimidated. Ha. But you were so kind. You gained a fan for life. Patty 3, thank you for creating first the Wreckage and now the Feelings Club. The connection made with the people is so incredible, and it's all because of you. Well, both of you. You know what I mean. Thanks. Those are good, right?
That's so sweet, yes.
Eric is one of the sweetest men I've ever met in my life. He has a genuinely sweet, that's the only way to describe him. He's a sweet man.
It's a sweetheart.
Yeah.
I have a private Facebook group for people like super fans and people that have like really helped us out in the past.
Or
like
worked merch for us
worked merch or helped us promoted tours and put up posters and things like that. So I've rebranded that to be called the Feelings Club. So we're a little club. It's a little private group and we message each other every now and then, check in. See
and the Feelings Club is a lot of things. It's a lot
so
of
many
things.
So many things. It's all coming together.
I think you need to make a new shirt that just says the Feelings Club is life.
Okay.
So I don't really have a question or anything, but mostly just wanted to say thanks. I'm quite excited to hear the project you did with Kelly and, of course, the new Wind in the Wave. Dee, in the podcast, you mentioned not knowing where to go with it. I say do you, whatever you're feeling. I admit that I've fallen off of listening to artist bands as my interests have changed. It doesn't mean that I stopped being a fan. But while the industry sucks like that, I've always said that artist bands should do what they need to do to get their creativity out. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think
sorry, go ahead.
No, what are your thoughts on that? Wait, me first.
That was a total me.
Yeah. I think it's important for artists to be able to evolve, and you don't have to continue the journey with them if you don't feel like it.
Yeah, you relate to that in the way of Death Cab, right? Like Death Cab was your favorite band, and then they started doing a few things that you didn't like as much, and so you're still a super fan.
I mean, I'm still very much a fan of Death Cab for Cutie.
I think that's what he's saying.
Yeah, for sure. I'm not as big a fan of their more recent musical releases, but I'm still a huge fan of the band, and we'll follow them forever. Yeah.
He says, okay, I'll wrap up, but I did want to mention, and I don't know if you need it or not, but I'm driving to Denver, so we'll have a vehicle. Oh, this is about, first, so we don't have to read the rest of this, but let me tell you this. Eric drove from Madison, Wisconsin to Denver.
Yeah.
To watch us play one of the Feelings Club shows. That's some pretty serious dedication right there. Don't you think?
And then immediately drove back to go to his uncle's funeral.
Yeah. Yeah. And to try to see his dad who's in the hospital like mine. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tough stuff.
Love you, Eric.
Yep. Well, we're over 30 minutes and I have some more emails, but I'll just save them. And Patty, why don't you take us out? Thanks, everybody. Sure? Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much for listening and watching. This has been...
Yeah, tell us your thoughts on that, by the way. Like, do you like the vids? Are we into that?
Yeah, and also, if you have any tips for me as to how to go about editing these videos, I will accept all the tips, all the help. I'm working out of iMovie, which I don't know how I feel about that program, but whatever. Let me know if you have any tips. I could use them. You can catch this show on YouTube, Facebook and IGTV. Hopefully, I don't know. We'll see as soon as this is over. I'll check and make sure it's on all those things. Send us an email.
And you'll post all the links to those somewhere, right?
Links. Yeah. Send us an email, thedwightandpattyshow@gmail.com. Be part of the conversation. We want to hear from you. Leave us a review if you haven't yet. That would be very much appreciated wherever you listen to podcasts. I'm out of practice. I'm gonna get back into this, so this seems like I know what I'm talking about.
It's okay.
You can follow us on Instagram at The Dwight and Patty Show. You can become a supporter of the show on Patreon. It's patreon.com/The Dwight and Patty Show. And that's linked on our bio on Instagram and all the things. So you can easily find that. You can also, if you want to support us, buy a piece of Wind and Wave merchandise at thewindandthewave.com/shop. And just as a quick reminder, if you use the code STAY HOME, you can get 10% off anything in the store right now. So that's it. Thanks for listening and watching.
Okay, yeah. Everybody be safe, and we will see you on the flippy flip. Bye.
It's the Dwight and Patty Show. It's the Dwight and Patty Show. It's the Dwight and Patty